Sorry, I've
This
just
is
opened the
Katie
curtains.
Hunter from MMA UK. Sam's dancing. I'm here with my two favourite referees. I'm here with Dan Movahedi and Sam Amidi.
How are we doing?
Hey there, people.
We've been saying we're going to do this for ages, and now seems like a good time because for once you guys aren't spending every, I don't know how many days a week it is, reffing events. So
Yes,
I thought you might have a bit of spare time.
Yeah, just a bit. Just a bit of spare time. Missing it.
Of course he has. Haven't you seen his barbecue videos he's been putting up? Of course he's got a bit of spare time. Weekend or no weekend, he's always cooking. No, ask him now. We don't always have to start with MMA stuff. Ask him now, Katie.
Okay. Well, Sam, I had a bit of a failure of a barbecue yesterday, and I wanted to know your little briquette things that you were using. Like, what are they and where did you get them? Because they seem to be doing a much better job.
They come off from the back of a van from one of my friends. Yeah, the restaurant.
I thought they look professional grade.
They are the restaurant quality ones. One of my mates used to sell me boxes of them, and I was just stacked up on quite a few of them.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So the guy will never go hungry.
I'll never go hungry. Fully stacked
How
up.
were your kebabs?
Oh, they were really nice. Really, really on point. I saved some for lunch today as well.
Well, you look like you were feeding about 20 people.
Yeah, well, I count myself as probably about 10 of those, so...
Katie, do you like how he's taking it on now? Like before, when I used to post about him eating and whatnot, I used to be offended. But now he's actually taken on as part of his character.
That's because I know I weigh about 10 kilos less than you, so you can say what you want.
Yeah. Okay, right. Yeah.
But what's it like now you're not able to do your normal training? Because obviously you guys do training.
What training? This guy, I just about managed to put a challenge up to do 10 press-ups a day. He's like, nah, leave that, man. I'm working. I'm the one out on the streets delivering stuff. He's at home in front of his laptop. You can bang 10 out, but you don't bother.
I 50 yesterday. I'll send you the video.
Yeah, okay.
But so is nothing going on while you're not able to train jiu-jitsu? Are we? I mean, obviously you've got a really active job, Dan. Anyway.
No, obviously at home I've been doing stuff with the boys and doing my own training. But luckily enough, with the technology we've got today, as of today, the gym we go to New Wave Academy, they've started twice a day doing courses or doing classes, should I say? One BJJ in the evening, and then one striking stuff in the afternoon. As it goes, we was going to train today, weren't we, Sam? But we've come to do the interview, right?
Yeah.
The first one you can blame on me then.
Yeah. No, but yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, just trying to get our training in. But it is hard for people. Funny enough, I was listening to a podcast today with Hannah Gracie, who does the Gracie Online Academy stuff. And he was saying that, when he first started up, some people are going to hate the idea. Some people are going to love the idea of him doing his academies online. And sure as hell, look at him now. He's like, well, you guys who laughed about putting syllabuses and stuff online for people to learn online, guess what you got to start doing now? He's got 10 years worth of footage when he started 10 years ago that he can offer to people now to train from home, whether you're with someone, without someone. And it's crazy how technology, we're lucky that, if people are staying indoors, that we can, use this technology, or even going on YouTube and picking a couple of training tips up, whether it be BJJ, striking, body weight exercises. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. I feel like it's all the non-exercise activity that I'm missing out on, because I'll do my set exercise that I'm going to do that day, like my class or whatever, but I'm not walking to the station. I'm not walking to different meetings and stuff. I bet that's quite a few calories over the week. But
easy for me as well. I feel that pain.
I'm getting my excuses in
that pain. Although I've been trying to buy one of these electric scooters so I don't have to walk in the city when I go back. Sorry, guys.
You do yourself no justice. What have you got there? Hold on. Let me see. What are you eating?
Got some bori, milk chutney, potatoes. We're fully energized.
It's hard work, these interviews. So, Dan, you're still out on the front line at the moment. You're a postie. You're out every day. What's that like? And how much is it annoying you?
No, do you know what? I obviously we deliver the stuff. Whether you want us call us key workers, people go, I'm just doing my normal day job. It is. You wouldn't believe, honestly, the amount of packets and stuff we deliver now is absolutely crazy. You know, because I know Amazon have cut down their staff in any way. And like today, for example, we were delivering Boris's letters to every household, which was a pain in the ass, but yeah, it had to be done. But yeah, on a serious note, I'm glad I'm still kind of working as well, because like you said, it's nice to get out of the house, do my walk, checking up on my customers, etc. But not a lot of people even. I honestly thought everyone knew I was a postman. A couple of times I put a couple of things out regarding my work, and everyone's like, "I didn't realise you were a postman." I mean, yeah, the referee don't pay that much, my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's hard, you know. But like I said, people like that, especially like the NHS staff, they're the real heroes, because they've got to deal with the sick patients whilst they're trying to do the best jobs they can do and putting their health at risk, you know. So. Yeah,
how annoying is it the people not taking the staying at home seriously when you're out there?
I'll let Sam answer that one.
I don't even want to start with him. I get it every day from him, Katie, honestly. He's every day. These effing people that. I'm just like.
All jokes aside,
honestly, look, we appreciate what people like Dan and that do, that are keeping this like nation kind of ticking over, because without people like himself, the NHS workers, all these people that run the supermarkets, would be stuck. So we owe all these guys a credit for everything that they're doing for us. We're only able to stay at home because of these individuals. So people, please stay at home, respect what these people are doing, and save lives.
Yeah, and like Sam said, I'll call him up and we have a little rant now and again, because there's nothing else to talk about. There's no events to talk about. So we're like two old Iranian men having a little go at each other about the daily things. Like, for example, on the weekend, you see people walking around, and granted, me, Helen, and the kids, we go a walk around the block just to get the boys out of the house. But then you've got people sitting down having a picnic in the park. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And honestly, until it. I know someone who is a friend of a friend who's in hospital with it. Hopefully not in a very bad way. But until you know someone, or it does affect you in a personal way, I think some people are just selfish, and it's that mentality we live in. Oh, well, we won't get it, or it's okay. We'll crack on. But it's sad. We got friends. And one of the ladies who works on Bellator with us, Gaia, she lives in Italy, and she when it hit them first, she was saying how bad the lockdown is, and she was like, I hope you guys take it seriously as we are. And sure as hell, our hospitals are filled up with loads of patients, understaffed. So yeah, it's a tough one. But yeah, and lucky enough, Sam, with the work he does, I'm sure he would say he gets to work from home, and he's lucky. We're a few of the lucky ones that we can still work and still get paid. Whereas some other people, like the restaurant staff, bar staff, simple things like people who do the cages, if we want to make it MMA related, people set up cages for MMA, people who do the medics for the MMA shows, people who do the cutmen for MMA shows, even us as ref, it's for some people it's a full-time job, or it's the extra income they get to make, and we're not making it at the moment, but you just got to take on the chin, and hopefully this will pass over.
How's working from home going for you, Sam?
It's not going too bad. The only problem is I have my baby daughter half the time sat on my lap when I'm trying to work on meetings and trying to keep her occupied. It's nice being around the family in terms of, I kind of cut out that travel. I normally travel probably about 2.5 hours in a day. And, kind of cutting out on that travel is a great thing. And we're quite blessed the fact that we're a cloud-based business. So we can kind of run our systems working from home, and we quite often do. So it was always kind of set up in that way. The problem is you do kind of also miss that kind of being out and being with people and actually just being able to get up and go and speak to your work colleagues rather than having to sit there and give them a call or going on Zoom chat. You know, it takes time to adjust. Hopefully we won't have to adjust to it for too long, and hopefully things will, you know, go back to normality. I mean, my wife, after the first week, wanted to kick me straight back out of the house. She normally moans about working from home that I don't do it enough. After the first week, she's like, you know what, I wish you just actually go back to work.
So this is the thing, Katie. The positive thing is, me and Sam were saying, the positive thing is our wives now can't moan at us for being away traveling.
Yeah.
When we go on events, I think they'll be glad to get rid of us. You know, I think my wife lasted a couple of days, but yeah, they'll be glad to get rid of us. You know, not to be around the house.
But like, joking aside, you guys don't normally get to spend whole weekends with your families, do you? Like,
no.
I mean,
it's been nice.
Could do more, but it must be amazing to spend time with them.
Oh, it's definitely nice.
100%.
100%. I think definitely over the weekends. The only thing is, it's a shame that we're kind of locked into our garden rather than kind of being outside doing activities, which would be nice to do. But at the same time, you know, just spending it with your loved ones, because again, these opportunities aren't probably going to, when I say opportunity, these things aren't probably going to come around again. So make the most of what you can with your family, your loved ones. You know, stay safe. Hopefully, when things go back to normality, you know, you'll lose a bit of that family time again. But on the plus side,
you'd appreciate it. You'd appreciate it when you do have the time with your family. You know, 9 times out of 10, myself and Sam, like when we come home, it's like you see it from his social media and mine. You know, we don't come home and just go, okay, cool, I've been away all weekend, kids leave me alone. Straight into the next thing, whether we're taking the kids to the cinema, to the park, whatever it may be. You know, we're always leaving another event the next day very early to make sure we get home in enough time to spend at least the full Sunday with them, as opposed to, I don't know, flying back late in the evening or whatever it may be. But yeah, you do appreciate it more, and I don't know if they appreciate it, but I know I appreciate it.
They're ready for the events to start back up again.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. But do you know what? The crazy thing is seeing, like, for example, like tonight, I think on BT Sport, they've got Conor McGregor night, like showing all these old fights and whatnot. In a way, it's crazy, because I wonder how many fans or new fans that have been watching this sport haven't seen so many previous fights or like old fights. I've been putting a couple on my social media of like old school fights, you know, of like, for example, Jeremy Horn fighting, or Phil Baroni, Matt Linland. You know, I wonder how many of these people don't know about them, those fighters, you know, from back in the day. It's actually quite good, and they know they're going to be getting the viewership on the BT Sport or wherever it is they're showing it on, because everyone's obviously indoors, or should be indoors, should I say. So it's pretty cool.
It is cool. I'm loving the recommendations from people on their Facebook, the fights that they're putting up and stuff, ones you haven't seen for ages or ones you've never seen at all. It's just really cool to revisit them. Heartbreaking as it is to have no fresh stuff. But...
Yeah, I know. Hey, hold on. You're in the media, right? And I literally just looked at my Twitter page. Is Dana White announced something today? That an event's still going ahead or not?
So the most recent thing that I saw was him saying that that 249 is going ahead. Khabib is not going to be fighting. He will announce the full fight card today, but that's as much as we've got so far.
Knows,
so
I think that's what
it's going to be
say.
Justin Gaethje, but I don't
know.
I
wonder how many, as a fan, and I'm speaking as a fan only, like everyone's obviously, but we know one of our good friends, one of the guys who does commission work for us, Fred. Poor sod, his wife had bought him as for part of his birthday present. You know, to go to Vegas or where the fight was, and you know, flights, hotel, everything for his birthday. And, you know, as a fan, that's the fight we all wanted to see. As much as Gaethje's great, you know, he's the next one. You know, Tony wants the fight to get paid. So sometimes you think, oh man, just scrap it and just let's put that fight on some other time. You know, even if you carry on the rest of the card, because let's just say Tony loses, for example. Then how can you still make that fight against Khabib and Tony? You know, it's a crazy one, isn't it?
I couldn't agree more. Like, I kind of, whether you agreed or didn't agree with 249 going ahead, I kind of got why he thought it was so important for that fight to finally happen, because it's just been supposed to happen so many times before. And as soon as it became clear that that fight wasn't happening, to me, no other fight matters enough to hold it now. Like any other fight can be postponed. That was the one that I could see the argument for. And I don't know. I feel the same as well. If he loses to Gaethje, his chance to fight Khabib and our chance to ever see that fight is gone.
Yeah, because you're going to see. Well, even if he lost, I'll still watch the fight, but you're still going to have the people going, "Oh yeah, but he's fighting someone who lost the fight." That's what the argument is going to be, you know.
And also, a fight with Gaethje is going to rack up some more miles, and he's getting on a bit as well, isn't he? I think he's 37, which for a fighter, I wanted to see him fight Khabib when they were both in their prime. Not me forever saying, "Oh, Tony was a little bit old when that happened." What about if it had happened 2 or 3 years earlier?
Yeah, but you know, I think they're gonna. I think also, like me and Sam were talking about this when the Cage Warriors card happened. They took it to Manchester, and as much as people, even to a certain point, ourselves were like, "Man, is this the right thing to do? Are they? How are they going to pull this off? Is it going to go ahead? How's the logistics going to work, etc." And it was actually nice to be home and watch a fight that's happening right there and then in a safe environment. Everyone was, kept to wherever the distance they needed to be in. I made sure everyone was in separate changing rooms because obviously they had the facilities to do that because it wasn't a full venue. It was in an empty venue. And it just brought that little bit of normality to it, But, like I said, you're going to have people agree and you're going to have people disagree and, people go. But at the end of the day, also, you've got to feel for the fighters as well and for the people working on the show. You're losing out, But it's a catch-22, isn't it?
100%. The thing that surprised me about Cage Warriors the most was how all the fighters just seemed to switch on, forget everything that was happening around them, and just bring it. Like that.
It was a good card.
Still some cracking fights.
It was just like, oh my god, and like that just still felt to me like it was in front of a big crowd. It was weird.
It was really good. They still come on, mentally prepared themselves well, as Dan said, and they put on a great performance. I think that whole card was practically really good. I mean, it's probably the first time I actually sat down and watched the full card from start to finish in a very long time. So it was great to see, fair play for Cage Warriors for putting it on and actually, getting it done. Because, as an MMA fan, if we'd lost that, I think I would have lost the will to live as well.
But the fighters as well, and the staff, but the fighters that actually had to go in and fight, like to not know from 1 minute to the next, like, are they going to be fighting? Aren't they going to be fighting?
Yeah.
Have I got to hit weight at the weekend? Like, it's not in London anymore, it's in Manchester. Like, it's just mental.
And that's a distance as well. Let's not bullshit anybody. That's not like for anyone who's listening who doesn't live in England. It's like, it's a good 5 hours away. Drive, should I say. And I'm sure
on the day you're cutting weight.
On the day you're cutting weight, and I'm sure that the trains weren't running properly anyway. So, like I said, all the logistics, and fair play for them to pull it off. And I thought it was a good shout,
And Darren Stewart and Fabinski, agreed to change promotion, change opponent. It was just craziness.
But that's a fight that they're the real fighters, should I say? Cracking on, and like I said, some of them still were relying on that paycheck. We're relying on that paycheck to whether it be getting through the next month or so, whatever it may be. But respect to the promotion, and but then you got the flip side of it. That previous week from that, I think it was a week before that, Bellator cancelled the event on the day, the one that was meant to happen in Connecticut. Again, fair play to them. At the end of the day, we could have everyone on Twitter or social media saying this and that. The people who are running that organisation know their health and safety, know the risk checks they've done, that they're everything they've put in place. If it meets the criteria for them to cancel the event, of course they'll cancel it. If they can carry it on, they'll carry it on. So there's two sides to that. But again, credit to Bellator. They looked after all their fighters, everyone, and should I say their staff as well. I believe got paid as well. Who were there? Because don't forget, me and Sam were getting ready to watch it and then it got cancelled a couple of hours before we
3
had
hours
to start.
before, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. After weigh-in.
Good thing we didn't fly out, Dad, because Dan was like, yeah, we should go fly out.
So the last event I went to live was one that you guys were both reffing. It was Cage Warriors Academy Southeast.
The hashtag armbar.
Oh my God, yeah. Armbar City. Yeah. I went back and looked at the results. There were 7 armbars out of 36 fights. Unreal.
Yeah. And how many, hold on, forget the armbars, between Sam and Harry Selby, the other referee, I think they might have had, even if it's just in one fight, total of 8 to 9 nut shots that night.
Yeah.
Groin shots.
Yeah, there were a lot. There were. That card is always, not that card. That show is always got some cracking fights on it. But this card brought everything. Like, we had a disqualification for an illegal knee. It was just pure craziness. But we said that we were going to talk about some of the arm bars, because obviously there were a few protests on the night, and I just remember from our rules talk, bit different for Wimp to Warrior. We've got less experience even than the amateur guys on these cards, but I just remember you saying that you will never leave the decision to us, like whether to let our arm break or not. Like, you're going to intervene before them because we're amateurs, and when we're pro, it's up to us if we're going to let our arm break.
Even then at pro, we don't want your arm to break.
Interview done. Thanks a lot, Katie.
But I always say that to everybody afterwards. Like, you may not have tapped, but if they could see it, I've heard it so many times. But I mean, what's your response to the people who protest to you stopping those fights for arm bars?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing they need to realise is what our roles in there are. We're not there to be the face of the show. We're there to, put the fighter's safety as like paramount. So, our main 2 things are, 1, to ensure the fighters abide by the rules, and 2, the safety of the fighters. Now, especially at an amateur level, okay, bear in mind that these are amateur fighters. They're still young in their careers. Quite often or not, they probably haven't had an armbar hyperextended to that extent. Just a hyperextension will do enough ligament damage to injure your arm for a while. And I think we saw that on one of the fighters on the night, that he tapped a little bit too late. And, he ended up having to walk out with a sling on his arm because of the fact he didn't tap quick enough and his arm hyperextended. Now, thankfully for that fighter, as far as I'm aware, his arm didn't break. But the fact that, he tapped a little bit too late because he wanted to be stubborn and hold on to that arm, and he hyperextended his arm, and it literally takes it takes a second, if that. There's not even a second to it. It's a quick reaction. As soon as that arm is pulled, it can break. I've had it at pro level. I think at an event in MTK, and I'll never forget this, where it was Dan Vinny against one of the French fighters. I can't remember his name now. But he was in this armbar and he wouldn't tap, and he kept switching position. This is a fighter that knew how to get out of positions. You can clearly see that he was moving around, getting into different positions, trying to escape this armbar, rolling over. Dan Vinny then rolled with him and kept holding on to that armbar. Eventually, his arm ended up breaking, and then I stopped it. And then he ended up trying screamed and tapped after. But, I'd already stopped it because I saw the arm break. Now, it took a split second. And he's a fighter that was showing the right techniques to get out of that arm. But it took a split second for his arm to break. And, he ended up having to, go straight to hospital. And I think amateur scene need to realise that we can take that decision out of your hand, whether you like it or not, for your safety. I'd rather err on the side of cautious for the fighter's safety, just to ensure they can go back to training, because they've got long careers ahead of them. The last thing you want to do, as soon as you start, you break an arm, there's a good chance the arm's never going to recover and be 100% again. And we're trying to look out for the longevity of the fighters' careers, and their safety, of course, because the last thing we want is people to walk out in broken arms and broken legs or limbs. And it can happen because it is a split second thing. But if we can stop that from happening, and we don't just, for us, it's not a case of you're caught in an arm bar, we're going to stop it. We'll give fighters opportunities depending again on their position. We've been in positions where we've seen it. And if you're not showing us the right techniques, you can get yourself out of those positions. And we'll take those decisions out of your hand for your safety. Now, for me, I'd rather a fighter be upset with me for not having an arm broken and stopping it slightly early if that's what they feel. Than them having a broken arm and turn around to me and say, "Why didn't you stop it when my arm was hyperextending?" So it's that, it's that catch-22 at the end of the day. And as I said, we would always kind of give the fighters opportunities to try and get out of that position. I think I had one where the fighter was, he was stuck. No, it wasn't Movahedi one. So Movahedi one I let carry on because he was showing me the right techniques to get out.
Exactly.
The opponent up and slamming his opponent despite his arm hyperextending. I had one earlier on in the night where he got caught in the arm, but I can't remember the young kid's name. Good fighter, he's a young fighter, I hope him all the best in his career. But he got caught in an armbar and he was stuck up against the cage. And I see that arm hyperextending. I think his coach even said to him when he came in the cage that, your arm was extending quite bad. So it literally took a split second. Now, bear in mind, he wasn't probably in that armbar as long as, what most people will normally be in an armbar for. But the fact that I saw his arm really hyperextending and I was, for me, it's straight away like, look, this arm is going to break. He's not getting out of it. It's bending more and more. I've got a split second either to stop this or I let it carry on, in which case the arm could potentially break. Now, we're never going to know because I stopped it, but at the same time, I'd rather not know, if that makes sense.
Second guess, isn't it? Exactly.
Yeah. And there was one that was stopped for a verbal tap.
Yes.
So a verbal tap doesn't actually mean, or doesn't only have to mean tap, does it?
No. So a fighter can verbally scream, and this is even at professional level as well. Screaming.
Well, it happened to Danny Roberts at UFC London last year.
Yes, it did. So I think this was Perry Snooks, if I'm right.
Snooks, yeah.
And listen, fair play to him. He was putting on a great performance on the night, and he got caught in an armbar. I never actually said anything to him. I just want to clear this up. I never once said anything verbal to him. I was trying to get into a position to see what his arm's like. He got caught in the armbar, and then it went belly down armbar. When it went belly down armbar, all I heard was a shout of no, and then for me it's like, shit, something like his arm must be caught in a bad position. So I said to the fight, stop. After that, he'd obviously then turn around and said, I said, no, don't stop. To me, I don't obviously hear that don't stop part, number one. Number two, I never spoke to Perry during that moment. I never asked him the question, are you okay?
And you wouldn't anyway.
And I wouldn't. For me, I was just trying to get into position, see where his arm's at. And for me, his arm, at the time, his arm was hyperextended, but I couldn't tell to what extent. Now, when he's obviously then speaking to me and shouting out no, for me, I look at that as a sign of, shit, he's in pain. I can't take that risk now because I can't see how bad his arm is because it's a belly down armbar. He's caught in it, and the fact that he screamed verbally, and it's a loud audience as well. I can't, for me, I have to side on the air of cautious in that situation because, for me, it sounded like he was in pain and he was caught. Now, after he's obviously said that, I said, no, don't stop. Again, I wouldn't understand why you'd say that when I haven't even spoken to you as a fighter. I've not asked you, are you good to continue? Are you okay? Show me and get yourself out of position. I didn't give him any kind of indication. I was just trying to position myself. So for me, it was, it sounded like he was in pain. He was caught in it, and therefore I stopped it to, protect the fighter himself. Now, if potentially I did get it wrong, and we'll never know because it's always going to be his word against kind of what I heard. The fact is, I'd probably stick by that decision 100 times out of 100 times, especially as a fighter. If I'm not speaking to you, there's no need for you to kind of give me the command that, no. And when you're screaming like that, no, it's, for me, it sounded like he was in pain and he was already in a bad position. So when you're in a bad position, you're screaming in pain and shouting no, that is as good enough as a verbal submission. And therefore, for your safety, we're going to have to stop the fight.
And the thing that fighters need to remember is that as a referee, we won't ask you a question. We'll give you commands, like show me you're good, get yourself out of there, need you to work. We'll never go, are you okay, mate? Because we've had people, even if we haven't asked them a question, I'm saying, like, come on, get yourself out of there. Like, give me a thumbs up. I haven't asked you to give me a thumbs up, And a lot of people, I've had it before where a guy's come to give me a thumbs up. All of a sudden, he's lost it. He might have had a gable grip and he's gone like that. Next thing you know, his arm's gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, I have never asked you to give me a thumbs up. I'm not even asking you to talk to me. You just, by your actions, same as like we would say, come on, guys, let's see some progression here. Look to finish this fight. Let's see some progression from wherever the position you are. You know, we'll never like. We always give you a command, not necessarily. We'll never ask you a question. I know Sam doesn't. I know I don't. I know most of the professional guys don't. If you ask him a question, and then you ask him for world trial, are you okay, mate? And he goes, yeah, and he gets choked out. He's like, hold on, ref, I was trying to answer you. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
but it's like Sam said, and that
It could
fight
have
you were
hurt
talking
someone
about,
else in the crowd, I guess, or
yeah,
just like.
You can't let, if it come into the crowd, you can't, you know, don't let the crowd influence you anyway. But like Sam said, it's so loud there that imagine Sam didn't stop that armbar, right? And he's going, no. I don't know how he said the no, whatever it may be, right? And he didn't stop that, and his arm breaks, or he really hurts his arm, and he'll be like, "Fucking hell, ref! I was shouting no, I was trying to verbal tap." You know, it's like then what? Then the referee gets all the blame for it. You'd rather your referee stop you and save you from a position that looked like anyway that you weren't going to get out of, right? So would you rather that, or would you rather walk, like Sam said, walk home with a broken arm, especially at amateur level? You know, I know which one I would take.
That one to me just looked like a misunderstanding. Just looked like I don't know, he thought that you'd said something, or it was just. But on a card of 36 fights, you're going to get some freak outcomes, aren't you?
You are. It's like when, you know, bless his heart, it's like when Jack says, guys, what did you think the fight of the night was? And I'm like, bro, like, we just done 37 fights. I can't remember. Like, we've had everything. We had the knockouts, TKOs, you had the submissions, you had the decisions, whatever it may be. You know? But yeah, on the actual event itself, credit where credit's due. I'm lucky enough. I can only speak on my personal opinion. Lucky enough to work with other good referees like Harry. Rich Mitchell's usually there as well, because I believe he was a Cage Warrior, which is Sam. And occasionally, when one of these guys can't make it, Leon comes down. We make it work, you know, and it does always look like it's rushed, but it's not. It's the people backstage getting the fires ready. You've got the cut men vassing them up, or cut women a lot of their last show, getting them vassed up, you know, trying to make it work clockwork, you know. And like, I know it's like, oh, bloody hell, 37 fights. Oh, we started at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, but the saving grace is they are all good fights. Like, you've got the guys from Denmark coming over. You've got the guys from France who come over. The guys from Belgium. Obviously, the British guys who fly over. You've got good, talented fights. The only downside to it, again, like I said, it's like when Jack goes, oh, what was your favourite fight of the night? And you're like, fuck, I can't remember. you know? So it's but apart from that, yeah, it's good. And Sam, that fight you was on about with Dan Vinny against Patrick Valet.
That's the one.
Well, if anyone, and Sam's right, that was especially at a pro level, that was a very good fight to watch. How this guy, you know, worked out them arm bars, and he just got caught to a point where he did injure himself, you know. But so I've had it on, quickly coming back onto the arm bar thing, I've had it on the other one. I think it was on Fight Star. I can't remember the kid's name. I know exactly what he looks like. The one who he got caught in an arm bar, his arm hyperextended. I stopped the fight. It was from Force MMA, from Das Wolf's gym, Renegade Fighting System. And he was like, oh, ref, I'm fine. I'm double jointed. I'm like, well, for one, I don't know that. And two, that's irrelevant. Like, this is, you know, just because you're double jointed, I'm not going to let you lay there and for your arm to hyperextend to a point. You know, and again, people think because they're double jointed, they're going to do no damage. Of course, you're still doing damage. Of course you are. You know, so that was the other flip side. But ref, again, his coach was like, it doesn't matter if you're double jointed, triple jointed, wherever you jointed you are, it doesn't matter. You know, but hey, who'd be a ref?
But you mentioned Fight Star there as well. I love that show as well as Cage Warriors Academy Southeast. What for you guys? What do you think of the young talent coming through and what it means for MMA in the future? Because I get so excited when I go to these shows.
No, of course. I think just looking at that, if anyone wants to look at a young talented fight, look at that Movahedi and Kane Isaac fight. I mean, that just speaks volumes for the talent we've got in the UK. I mean, it's scary to think that these, you know, all these amateur fighters are fighting at this level, because 10 years ago, these guys would be whooping most of the pro asses. And that's the reality of it is, you know, the standard has stepped up so much that these amateur fighters are scary. But, you know, also, you know, I'm in awe of watching them, because for me, I'm just so impressed watching the amateur scene and the way they progress onto the pro scene now. You know, you've got kind of your IMAF setting up, you know, steps for these guys to proceed in and kind of progress on to being pro, if they want to fight against other nations and test their skills against different skill sets. But, you know, for me, it's just amazing to see that the caliber of the fighters, the talent. And, you know, a lot of the hybrid fighters, like, you know, you see they do stuff and you're like, wow, I haven't even seen that before. You know, it's just amazing that they test their talent and their skills at these levels against high caliber other amateur fighters before they progress on to pro. You know, they're not doing those 1, 2, 3 fights and then going on to pro. A lot of these amateur fighters, you see, they're really taking care of their amateur career before they actually progress on to pro, because when they go pro, they want to make it to the top. And I have no doubt, you know, I'll probably can think about 2 or 3 that will probably go to the top off the top of my head, probably without naming names or being biased, but it's probably good 2 or 3 that I can think of that will probably go pretty far at a professional level very soon.
Yeah, and like Sam said, you know, win or lose, you know, I'm sure people have heard me say it, win or lose, even if they're lost, mostly if they've lost, yeah. I say to the amateur guys, don't worry about it. It's only, and no disrespect, it is only an amateur fight. No one gives a fuck.
You don't lose,
period.
You learn. Okay, you
Yeah,
don't lose,
exactly.
you learn
It's
at amateur.
like the biggest deal in the world, isn't
I know,
it?
no, I get that.
But
I've also had fighters afterwards come up to me and go, Dan, that's what I needed to hear. Thank you. You know, we've ref fights where the fight's so close and the guy just made one mistake and he got caught. Doesn't matter. I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. Look how well you was doing prior to that. Go to the gym, work on that. Don't beat yourself up about it. Come back and do it again, because, you know, amateur records, honestly, it does mean something. And the base, like Sam said, IMF obviously do the world championships, blah, 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 etc. You can go and compete against other nations. But, like, as far as, like, being worried, especially if you're wanting to progress to a professional career, it's not going to have it, because once you have that professional debut, everything else in the past has gone. Yes, obviously it's still there. The commentators talk about it. Look, he was this IMAF world champion. He was this amateur champion on this show. Yeah, great. But the minute you turn pro, the rule sets are different. The timing are different. You know, the techniques that you can use are different. You know, so all that is in the past. Your training mostly changes as well slightly to adapt to that. But yeah, we are lucky as especially like you said, Fight Star, Cage Warriors Academy. Them two for me at the moment, they're bringing the international guys, and I think we had LFC
Leo, as well.
Leo Alderman's last show, he brought a couple of the Belgian guys and the German guys over. It's nice to have international guys coming over, amateur guys, and competing against the British guys as well. So because before it used to be you'd only fight your guy who lives in Kent, so you're doing the same kind of circuit all the time. Whereas now you have people coming over and being tested, and I'm sure the same goes for the people who come over from France. Yes, it's legal now, but obviously they're not up and running at the moment regarding the MMA events. And same with the Norwegian guys who come over. They just want to test different people in different waters, and it's nice. It's nice to see that. And like I said, Raj, especially when he brings some of the guys over from Iceland, from Gunny Nelson's gym. They come over, they compete. I mean, you know, I remember first time I went and refereed on Fight Star with Sam and Gunny Nelson and his dad were there, and with their whole team, etc. And some of the guys who were fighting, the guys from their gym, were like for them, it felt like they were fighting Gunny Nelson, who's the UFC fighter, didn't it, Sam? Like, oh my God, like I'm competing against one of his guys. So this is a good challenge for me, you know? If he's bringing guys over to fight and I'm fighting him and I'm winning or whatever it may be, you know, they were getting excited on that side of it. It's good to see promoters, and it's not you know, cheap. You know, it does cost, but it's nice to see that starting to bring people over, you know, to compete against these guys.
Yeah, there's just way more opportunity than there's ever been on the amateur scene, and I just feel like it sets them up so much better. Like you said, you can take on the toughest challenges possible and know that as soon as you make that pro debut, that's your record wiped clean.
That's it. It's a clean slate.
But don't forget though, some people's goals are not to turn pro. Some people's goals are just to be the amateur champion of the world, like it is, like I would say, like in Olympics, for example, because they're amateurs for most of the sports. And for them to win that, that's the being like the UFC champion, pro champion, you know. So again, there's goals there, and there's enough people now competing from all over the world on different stages to be able to go, okay, I am the best amateur in the world. I'm not the best amateur if I've only fought the guys from Kent or from London or from Manchester. I'm the best in the world because I fought from people from Kazakhstan, Russia, wherever it may be, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree. So I've got a ton of questions that people have sent in for you guys.
Really?
A ton of questions.
Half of them are recipes.
Yeah.
Katie, before
I
you
don't know
go
where
into the
to start.
questions, so I wasn't at the last Bellator, right? Because I was on holiday, Dublin. You witness how much this guy eats, correct?
No,
Yes
you
or
did
no?
not.
Come
No,
on,
you did
and
not.
I've got photo evidence of him eating. Yeah. Now you know that I'm not bullshitting you, right?
I think it's I mean, I went out to dinner with you, didn't eat like a lot then, but I think it's
Your
is it
plate.
little and often?
I wouldn't say it's little and often. I'll say it's it's just unfortunate for me that every time I do get caught, I'm having a big burger in my mouth or something.
So that leads nicely onto the first question that's just for you, Sam. If you had to choose between not seeing your wife for a month or not having a Morley's for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
Hold on, let me just check my wife's phone. I think I need to buy shares in Morley's. You know, it's I need to have my Morley's. Okay, so yeah, sorry, love. See you later.
I don't think that would surprise many people.
I hope you're going to edit this
I had to-
section as the question and answer with Dan and Sam and put it out separately, just so she can watch this bit. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if people know, but I made fried chicken the other day. The only reason I had to make it homemade was because my wife wouldn't let me out of the house to go and buy Morley's that day. So
And rightly so. And rightly so. Government's advice is to stay at home.
It was an essential travel.
it was an essential travel. Thank you.
Exactly. Well,
So how was your own fried chicken?
I think I'll put Morley's out of business with that. I'm gonna have to make you guys some. Honestly,
Was it really
okay, that's an
good?
invite.
it's really good. Yeah, it was really good. I'm gonna have to do it again.
One for you, Dan. Do you miss fighting?
Do I miss fighting? No, not really. I'll be honest. The amount of times I got knocked out during my career.
How many fights did you have?
I had 15. Lost 8, won 5, and I've done a couple of kickboxing fights as well. So
Right.
yeah, so I don't miss it. I miss the training side of it, but it's like we go to the gym, and the guys go, "Oh, come on, let's do a bit of MMA training." I'm like, dude, I don't want to get punched in the head.
can't get
I'm
punched in
done.
the head.
Grappling, I'm fine with, and and all jokes aside, also, you got to think when I used to train at Titan is when you had people. I've had people like Bola. He's knocked me out before. I had Babyface. He's knocked me out in training, and and you get your bell rung. You think okay, cool, shake it out, and you go in again. And I wouldn't be surprised, give it another 10 years, if I got any CTE. But no, it's honestly for me, I don't miss it, obviously, but I do miss the being around all the whole team, like people like Brad Pickett, Mickey, all the other guys I used to train with. I do miss that side of it, but now I get to spend it with the fellow referees and other people who go around MMA. But I'm fortunate enough to do what I love doing regarding referee and being around the MMA scene. So,
Do you get a real buzz from like big events, refereeing big events, or certain fights?
Yeah.
Fights, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you do, and you know what? It's not on small, on big, whether it's big. Obviously, like everyone knows that when we do a Bellator or UFC, and we're just watching the fights or refereeing it, whatever it may be. Of course, these are the top guys who are fighting, and if anything, you do have a slightly less hassle night because you're like, these guys are seasoned. They know what they're doing, even down to the rules talk. You don't go so much in depth because by now you should know what the hell you're doing. But if you're at this stage, but I've said it again. I've said it time before that I treat every fight as if it's one of the biggest fights. Whether you're amateur, whether you're professional, and like Sam said, especially on the amateur guys, all of a sudden someone will come along and surprise you. Like, fucking hell, that was a good fight. You can see this kid going a long way, or see this girl going a long way. So yeah, it's lovely to see, you know. And yeah, I do get goosebumps depending on what event and fights are. Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, no. Oh, sorry, I'll sleep there. No, I'm joking. No, you do get that adrenaline. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we give 100%, no matter whether it's amateur or professional. It doesn't matter the fight or the stage. You do sometimes, obviously, you do sit there and think, you know, if you're in a big fight, you're like, you know, wow, like, you know, I'm kind of involved in this fight. But at the same time, you know, your focus will always be 100%. Everything will always be, you know, you always be neutral no matter what. Doesn't matter, you know, whether you refereed this fighter a few times, never refereed this fighter. You always be neutral no matter what the occasion is. You always, you know, be 100% focused on that fight during that moment. And you know, like I'm sure Dan will tell you, you know, you'd be surprised that, you know, fighters' adrenalines go up, and so do ours. You know, the adrenaline goes up because we need to be focused in the zone of watching every move of that fight. And I think people will probably be surprised. I mean, I'm sure if we had you know, a medical test after, you know, a heart test after the bloody event, you'll probably see our heart rate is pretty high up, you know, because we're so focused on a fight. Our adrenaline just kind of jacks up as well. And, you know, I said to you, it doesn't matter whether it's amateur or professional, you know, title fight on a big stage. Every fight will get the same attention, same love, same respect, and the same care. Right?
And what about nerves? Do you get nerves before a big event? What about your first UFC event, Dan? Like, did it feel any different?
Do you know what? And people always expect a different answer. It didn't, in the sense that I was fortunate enough when I done the UFC Liverpool Till versus Thompson. I was fortunate enough that the guys I was working with, I had Leon, Mark Goddard, Neil Hall, and you had the judges, Dave, Ben Cartledge, Colette. They're the same people that I've worked on other shows, whether it be Bama, whether it be Cage Warrior South Academy, whether it be Fight Star. They're the guys I'd worked with before. So for me, that sense of it, I was like, okay, I'm not by myself. I've got other people here. I know what I'm doing. I've put the work in prior to this on other events, you know, leading up at that time, 9 years grafting in it. And I'll be lying if I was saying, oh my God, look, I'm sitting here, Bruce Buffer's saying my name, or I'm sitting here and Dana White's sitting over there, or this is the NFL, so to speak, of MMA. But the minute I was in there, I was switched on. I treated it like nothing else. The only surreal thing is how you could hear for the first time. I could hear every breath, every punch, every kick, everything that was going on in the fight. I was like, wow, it was like an out of body experience, so to speak. But yeah, you do get nervous, and but you just shake it out. You know, I've got my own little way of doing that. I'll keep that to myself. But yeah, yeah, it was good.
Call me after Katie. I'll tell you how he does it.
But so how do you get to the next level of like going to all around the world doing UFC fights, and how far away from that do you think you are?
Like me and Sam have this conversation all the time. Yeah, you just put the work in. Don't matter. You know, the time will come. Luckily enough, we're around good people who, should they need us or want us, you know, whether they'll put a good word in, whether they'll see our hard work, whether they'll see the loyalty we have to promotions, to fighters, to ourselves. You know, don't try to cut corners. The time will come. You know, like I said, when I done my first UFC, I was like, okay, that's one. Okay, even if I do just one more in the next year, that's still another one. I've still got all my other events that I'm doing leading up to it. It's just I'm lucky enough, and like even like when we do the Bellator stuff. Yes, we're not refereeing on there. However, we work part of the operation team and help out there, so we can see a different view of it. And I think, especially in the European series that they do, they appreciate mine and Sam's experience as a referee, as an official, because let's not bullshit anybody. When they're back in the States, they've got shitloads of commissioners who, you know, commissioner per fighter, so to speak. Whereas we pick up on things, i.e., you're not allowed any energy drinks, i.e., you can't have that, you can't wrap your hands like this, or you need to wear this, or, you know, so our referee experience comes into the operations side of stuff as well. And it is fun, you know, but I've said this 100 times, I know Sam's going to say it now, is that just put the graft in, do what you got to do, and like, you know, we brought a couple of judges on board who've done a couple of Goddard's seminar certified courses. And same thing to them. They understand that, you know, we may give you one event a month, if that. But as long as you just keep plodding and keep doing it and show us you're competent enough to do that judging, have to be seated in that judging seat, or shadow us as a referee, or be a commissioner at an event, then we'll keep on helping you out. And the same goes for us. You know, when I go and work with Goddard or Leon or other people, I'm their student, so to speak. I still see myself as that. Say, look, I still got to prove to these guys that I'm loyal. I still got to prove to these guys I haven't grafted. Just because I've got to the UFC, I don't go, sorry, Sam, I can't come and do LFC or Bob's MMA on the weekend. I'm done now. Thank you very much. No, it doesn't work like that. You still got to keep yourself busy. And especially like times like this, I still watch fights because I can't referee. I sit there and watch fights and, you know, think, oh, how do I ref this or how do I judge that? You know? Yeah. So, and that's not for me waffling. Go on, Sam.
That was another question, actually, to both of you. Like, when you watch MMA events on TV, do you ref them in your head?
Yeah. I think sometimes we do. I think we try and watch the fight, but I think we're pretty quick to pick out, you know, anything that we think actually that's quite impressive for what that ref's done. You know, we're pretty quick to kind of highlight that as well between us. You know, would never kind of slay a ref, but you know, at the same time, I think maybe as a wider audience, people would never see certain things that maybe a ref does or appreciate what a ref does.
Yeah.
And you know, where we do, you know, when it comes to judging, it would judge it as a judge sometimes because it's still part of learning. You know, we're learning every day ourselves. It doesn't matter, you know, how many fights we do a year. You know, we probably do about 1,000 fights a year. You know, the fact that the amateurs said, you know, you do quite a number of fights in a night, unlike, you know, the UFC, like Dan does, for instance, he'll do about 2 or 3. But, you know, we're still learning every day. And like Dan said, you know, it's not about, you know, shortcuts. You know, it's about learning your craft, mastering it. You know, perfection doesn't exist. Perfection, you know, it's a word. At the same time, you want to be as close as perfect as possible. At the same time, it's not just, you know, not just for your own sake, but, you know, for the people that you're there to look after. You know, for the fact that they're on these big platforms, they want to ensure that they're also getting the best, the people that have been through the experience, that have seen, you know, many different scenarios and know how to react in those scenarios. You know, competence is a massive thing, and it's not about, you know, taking long strides to get there. You know, take short steps. People will recognize you. People know who you are. You know, eventually you'll get there. At the end of the day, you know, in this country, I think we're really fortunate with the level of refs that we've got and judges. You know, I think, you know, you look at the UFC, Goddard, Dan, Neil, Leon Roberts, and I think, you know, the handful of judges that we've got as well, Lefferby, Ben Cartledge, these guys are all over the world. Why? They don't just, you know, officiate in the UK, they go all over. Why? Because they're the best. You know, they're fantastic at what they do. And, you know, I think it would be an insult for someone like myself, you know, to think that I'll automatically deserve a spot there. You know, why? These guys are grafted for years. These guys have put it in from the lower events that, you know, you can say the smaller events, the sports hall events that we're probably doing more now. Before they got to there, they didn't just take a step there. They worked their way up. You know, they've been there, they've seen, you know, and every day they're probably still learning just as much as us as well. You know, we went and done Mark Goddard's judging course. Why? I'll sit in and say, you know, I probably knew a lot of that criteria already. But even on that day that I went and done his judges course, I still come out, actually, damn, that was a really great refresher. Damn, I actually didn't know that. You know, there's still 1 or 2 things I still picked up on. And actually, you even had UFC judges within that course as well, still learning, you know, because it's all about, you know, continual professional development. You know, you've got to, you know, just because you're not working finance, there's still a route of professional development within your craft, you know, and if that's you as a ref, you still got to grind and learn it every day.
Well, I guess you've got to watch a lot of fights while you're off, because otherwise you guys might have ring rust when you go back.
Wait and find out.
Be heavy footed
for the first fight.
And the sad thing is that obviously we had the Christmas break, so we had January, and we started to get things going February, and then we done Cage Warriors Academy, and I was like, and that's it. I was like, oh shit, you know. So,
heartbreaking. Yeah.
It is, and these are the times where you know, you get to, you know, like people like Ben Cartledge, I know he spoke about it on another podcast. He sits there and watches fights, or someone like Noel O'Keefe, who's a commentator for Brave FC. He's been putting out footages out of commentating like silly fights, like street fights, but actually doing a proper commentary on it. and you think that's clever. All right, it's not a proper fight. However, you're keep yourself relevant for one, and two, just keeping your mindset in that commentary kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, no, 100%. So let me go back to the questions that people asked. Well, one of them was like, if there was an event or a bout in history that you wish you'd been the referee for.
From any event, so
Yeah.
it is a tough one because, as a fan, I think I would have liked to have the Tito and Ken Shamrock number one, the first fight, just because I like Tito's walkout tune on that night. So
Yeah,
I would love to have been there for life.
I'd have to say probably the Manhoff and Cyborg, because that fight was just unreal.
See, I was lucky enough to be cage side.
You was there. I know you was there, cage side. Yeah, I know. That fight was just unreal.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. I think I would pick Gray Maynard and Frankie Edgar. That's one of my favourite fights of all time. When people have been saying, what fight should I go back and watch? That's my favourite. But I think that would have been so tricky to ref. There's so many times that fight could have been stopped.
So many variables, isn't it?
Yeah. And it just would have changed the outcome of the whole thing. You just never would have thought he could recover from that first round. And anyway, yeah, nobody asked me anyway, but that's what I would have said.
It's okay.
Peter always asks this question. If you could change one rule in MMA, what would it be?
Downward elbow, the 12 to 6. I'd probably with that. You know, for me, I just, you can throw a knee.
That's everyone's.
I think everyone's. Yeah, it'd probably be the 12 to 6, just to move it. You know, it's not a huge difference in terms of the impact of kind of arching it towards the end of that elbow, but yeah, I'd probably move to 12 to 6.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
And I know he's only being nice, but the rule he would like to change is that while he's refereeing, can he eat at the same time? Food during the break,
yeah. Food during the break.
Look at him.
Do you know what, yeah? I'll tell you what. I do often get commentators asking me if they want to feed me Haribos through the cages, and I've got to try and ignore them and stay focused.
I love how you're totally, disputing this reputation by eating while we're doing the interview. Clearly, it was an hour that you couldn't go without.
No, I couldn't.
Okay, next question. Have you watched Tiger King?
No. I watched one episode. I really couldn't get into it.
No, you got to watch it.
Yeah, I watched the first.
His wife won't let him.
I watched it. No, she doesn't like it either. But yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, it's just all over the place. The guy's a bit mad.
Oh my god, you got to get into it. Have you watched it, Dan?
Yeah, I have, and apparently they've reopened the case. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Cheers, Dad.
About her possibly feeding her husband, isn't it? So yeah.
I just think, where the fuck is this guy? If he's not, he must have heard about this documentary. Literally, the whole world is talking about it. It must be a really acrimonious divorce if he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go hidden and take flat for this one.
That's true. But the crazy thing is, only in America that they've got that many tigers in sanctuary more than anywhere in the world. It's crazy.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
It was. I found it sad, but also I found it funny as well because obviously I had the different stories in there. But yeah, it was a good one. But the best one at the moment I finished. I don't know if Sam's finished or not. So no spoilers.
No, I haven't finished.
Ozark,
no spoilers.
Season 3.
No spoilers. No spoilers on that.
You watch Ozark, Katie?
Ozark, yeah.
Yeah.
You finished it?
No, not 3. I've watched 1 and 2, not 3 yet.
Oh, watch number 3. And
I
we'll talk
felt
about
like
it
2
another time.
went off the boil, but I've heard that 3 is better than any of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 100%.
All right, I'll get on that. Who do you think is the best ref and why, apart from each other?
Oh, that ruined it. I mean, personally, I don't. You know what? This is a tough one to be put into. But I'm going to probably put a select few that I really like, and that I'm not going to lie. I still like to watch a referee. Like a fighter likes to watch a fighter, learn new skills. When I'm kind of working with the guys at Bellator, I sometimes listen to how they do their rules talk, for instance, and I like to sit there and pick up maybe 1 or 2 things that maybe I'd like to do differently. And we do implement certain changes that we listen from others. Likewise, others will probably implement changes that they might hear from us. But for me, obviously, if I can't say Dan, I wouldn't have put him in my top 5 anyways. But I'm joking. I think look, Goddard and Leon Roberts for me as well. For me, I admire the work that they do. I think Jason Herzog is a great ref. Mike Beltran, for me, is a really again, massive fan of Mike Beltran, the way he works. And people
Where's she gone?
Who? Oh, she's crying.
Katie.
She's here. Oh, Katie's here. And you're not here.
That's her camera's gone off, isn't it?
No, mate.
Oh, I still look here to me.
Yeah, she's still here, mate.
Oh, there you go.
So,
there we go. We just swapped, yeah.
Thanks for interrupting that, Dan. Yeah, so go back to Mike Beltran, Todd Anderson. I think these guys, all really great refs. And one of the referees I like to have a good laugh with is Kevin McDonald. I mean, I think Dad would say, what
Why?
just honestly, just some of the stuff.
Really Goddard.
Really Goddard. He's such a great guy, such a funny guy, a good laugh. He's and people see these referees at events, and referees are serious at events. They have to be, they have to be professional. But outside of events, they're all great guys. You have a conversation with, laughing, all really great guys to have a conversation with, good laughing.
Does your heart go out to them if they have an absolute nightmare over something? You must put yourself in that position and think, thank God that weren't me.
Oh yeah, okay, of course you would do, but at the same time, we know that they make any decision they make it with the right intent. At the end of the day, the intent is there for them to make it, and at the end of the day, it's for whether it's right or wrong. Because you've got a split second to make a call. Whatever their intentions are, they're doing it for the right reasons, and I think that's what's important. And these guys, they barely make mistakes. Everyone's going to make a mistake here and there. We're only human beings, but these are the guys that are almost there at perfection.
Everyone on social media remembers the mistakes they made, not the good they've done. Whether you stop the fight, etc. So that's the reality of it. But we're not there to be praised, I guess.
No.
There's a difference, though, I think, between not being there to be praised and then some of the abuse that I've seen. Like, I know that Mark Goddard occasionally has put up some of the things that people have said.
But he's got the toughest skin in the game. Trust me, it does. It goes above his head. What's
the worst abuse that you guys have had?
You've seen my abuse. I'll just say Fight Star. That's it. Just go and look it up. There's a link somewhere of the top, DQs, top 5 DQs, and I think that one's in there. So that's the worst one I've got in there. Being told that I DQ'd someone because of their race. Far from it.
Wow.
But that's the worst one. Yeah.
Wow. Sam.
And Sam.
I've not really had anything to that extent, to be honest with you. You have your occasional, get lost ref or F off ref. I'm not happy with that. In the heat of things, I get, people aren't happy at times. At the end of the day, they've trained hard, they've competed. They may not be happy with the decision. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We'll make a decision because we have the right intentions to. I haven't really had anything too bad, to be fair. As I said, a lot of fights I have had maybe an issue with in terms of them being a little bit abusive. It's always been amicable after. They respect each other, they calm down. Sometimes we'll go backstage after everything's calmed down and just talk to them. Sometimes, talk to their coaches. Just make sure everyone's okay. Make sure they realise the reason why we made the decision or whatever the outcome might be. But generally, I've not really had anything too bad. Outside of maybe your F off kind of thing.
Yeah. What about the craziest place you've ever reffed?
Shit. What was I say, Bulgaria?
Craziest. I don't know. For you, it might be Vienna.
Oh, Austria. No, Austria for me, definitely. Yeah.
Why?
Austria. So I've done an event. This Dan set me up actually. This is Dan's fault. So Dan went ACB, I think.
I was in Russia.
He went Russia. So I covered him for an event. So we was at Bama, and then we both flew out separate places. He went to Russia for an event, and I had to go to Austria to cover him for an event. And we done this event. It's like an MMA gym, but at the back of the gym. Okay, so as part of the gym, it's actually run by the Hells Angels in Austria. And these people basically ran the whole gym, okay, the Hell's Angel. And it's basically at the end of the night, it's really, really weird place. They had like probably about 40 seats, but they made it look good on camera for like streaming views and stuff. The fights weren't bad. You had some good fighters there. Oh, God. Sorry. You had some good fighters there. Sorry, guys.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Hi. Say hi. Oh, no, she's gone. Dan scared her. Dan scared her. You scared her, Dan, by the way. That's good. I'm up after. Yeah. So at the end of the night, I won't go into it too much because it was a bit of a hostile scene. But we've done our job. All the officials there done a great job. Nothing went wrong in the night. But trying to get paid at the end of the night was a bit of a hassle when you've got Hell's Angel refusing to pay you, and you have to sleep in a hotel, just down the road from them. No one was willing to drop you back to your hotel, and you're stuck there. We had to get the medic to drop us in his ambulance back to the hotel. It was really hostile.
God. So did you get paid in the end?
A part of it, yeah, not all of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I won't tell you what they wanted to pay us with, but yeah, put it this way, it wasn't with food.
Oh my God. I was thinking an ACA event or ACB event must have been the craziest.
I was in Russia. That was obviously when it was ACB before we boycotted it. But that's the show I was at, St. Petersburg in Russia. So that's the one I was at. But yeah, the craziest place. I'll tell you what, my wife's gonna go. Whatever. But honestly, for me, Singapore and Israel got to be top of my top 2 lists that I've got to go to, which I thought was good.
Why, in terms of just
in terms of just somewhere, seeing the places.
Crazy.
It doesn't have to be bad crazy, does it? It's crazy in the sense. Look, put it this way: we went there. We were at the airport for 4 hours.
Reiterate this question again for him, please, because he's
Right. Oh shit. And then I've started writing really small because I ran out of space. Oh, Sam, this one's for you.
So many people sent us questions.
I know. Sam, why do you support Man U, and don't you feel like a scumbag, sellout traitor every time you walk past Selhurst Park?
That's Chris Emmanuel's question. 100%. That's from Chris Emmanuel. Listen,
I can't reveal my sources.
Chris Emmanuel. That's because Palace is shit, and I never support a shit team. I'm joking. I just supported United from a young age. My dad studied in Manchester Uni, so it's natural for me to just take on United as a team. I mean, it was unfortunate that it was at the time. Fortunate for me that they were winning everything at the time when I started supporting them. But hey, coincidence. What can I say?
At least no one can accuse you of being a glory hunter now.
I mean, I am a glory hunter as well. There's no doubt about that. I was brought up near Upton Park, but hey, I weren't going to support West Ham.
Brilliant. I think we've covered most things, but I just wanted to give you guys the floor and the opportunity to say anything to everybody watching that you'd like to talk about. I don't know if there's any new rules or anything that you guys would like to shout out.
I mean, do you want to shout out the sponsors, Dan? The people that look after us?
Well, yeah. Vigorate, obviously. They look after us, keep us. Do you know what? I've never used so much Vigorate in my life, especially at times like this, coming home from work, hand soap, wash, etc. That's my daily routine now. But yes, for them, from all the MMA, for looking after us with our apparel, clothing, and and just people like yourself, Katie, giving us the platform to be able to talk. Not even just in general, when we see you events, we have a good laugh, a good crack, and you know what? I'll say this, even at the beginning of the podcast or wherever we're going to call this interview, when you were talking about the armbars, and you talk about the rule sets, etc. It's nice to, especially these days, you do get journalists who know the rule sets, know the criteria, and that way educate yourself the way you do your writing. It shows that you know your stuff when you're talking about it. And for anyone else, any other journalists who are taking this on board as well, and educating themselves and talking to the likes of myself, Sam, other referees, for even if you just hit us up on social media, what was this rule set? Why did you do this? Educating yourselves as much as we educate ourselves. It's credit to you, and yeah, good work. And that's the only shout out I'd like to give. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll second that.
I would say that I've been to one event where I felt like the safety and the standards were not up to scratch, and that more than any good show that I've been to brought home the importance of having the right officials that are there for fighter safety, that, you know, all of the people that you guys bring with you as a team, or when you're part of a team, everybody's critical to the safe running of that show. And having seen one where I thought something dangerous could happen at any moment, it just brought it home to me even more how important what you guys do is, and you know how nothing should be left to the people in the cage fighting to make up their mind about, because at the end of the day they're fighters and they're going to fight no matter what, and there needs to be people around them in their own teams that giving them good advice, and then when they're actually fighting, you guys protecting them. So
no, of course. I think just on that as well, I'd just like to say, you know, we need to shout out the people that, you know, the officials that people don't see as often, you know, the people that, you know, the commissioners that run the backstage, the judges that people just don't appreciate as much, you know, the cut men, cut women, the people, you know, often they see what's in the cage, but actually, you know, outside of the cage, there's so much more that goes to it to ensure that, one, the fighters are in a comfortable place before they're mentally ready to go for a fight. You know, last thing you want to do is be, the last thing you want to be is unorganized and put a fight, this is gone missing, oh no, you can't go on it, and, you know, just, you know, disorientate a fight before they're about to go out. You know, they've trained hard, they're trying to mentally prepare themselves. We want to put them in the best position possible backstage, you know, throughout the whole process, you know, the whole journey that they're having when as soon as they arrive at a venue, just to ensure that they're, you know, everything that we do is for the fighters. So, you know, thank you to all the staff that we work with, the promoters as well, on all the fantastic events that are giving us the opportunities, and obviously, you know, a lot of the officials that have, you know, opened up the floor for us to, you know, progress on as well.
And I would say this, and the guys and girls who've come on board with us on the more local scenes, thank you for trusting Sam and I to guide you through the process, and whatever your goals are and whatever it may be, to take you on, you know.
well, thank you guys. It's so nice to see your faces. I should have seen you a few more times since Cage Warriors Academy. So I'm glad that I got a chance to catch up with you. Thank you for your time.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
And be safe to everyone out there. Yeah, all jokes aside, stay at home and just be safe, man. Let this blow over, and hopefully we can get to some sort of normality or for being around. And I can actually Instagram this guy eating for real, as opposed to putting his own
please, guys, for the sake of Grumpy here, please stay home, because otherwise I'm gonna have to hear it day in, day out. So please stay home, stay safe with your families. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone back on the scene again soon.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you both when it's safe for us to be fighting again and watching the fighting again. Take care, boys.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
See you later. Have a good evening.
See you
Bye.
later. Bye.